Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. We're continuing watching Marvel's What If. It's episode 8, What If? Ultron 1. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, this is Prague.
Finally, last week was not a cliffhanger because we got this episode. This is DeLorean Wolfgang.
Very nice. Bit of a spoiler,
and we have a special guest joining us this week.
Hey guys, it's Michelle.
Hey,
Hi,
Michelle.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Thank you.
Welcome
Happy to
Yeah.
be back.
What was the last episode you were on? What did we discuss?
We were actually talking about that earlier. I think it was the Loki finale. I think it was last time.
Oh,
I was
yes.
here.
wow.
Yes, that's right.
Man, and you didn't come back for the finale on this show.
You jumped the gun.
Jump the gun.
Jeez.
As long as we're not jumping any sharks like Happy Days, then we're good.
Hey,
And so the reason you're joining us this week, because not only we're going to talk about What If Marvel episode 8, but we're going to continue our fantasy talk of Harry Potter from last week by switching it up to a different book series called The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, we are, which I am a very big fan of.
nice.
So
I'm
stay
more of
tuned.
a fan of Lord of the Dance, but I understand. Everybody's got their own thing.
Wow, I haven't thought about Michael Flatley in a few years.
I was trying to remember his name. I was like, what was his name?
oh yeah, that was
Seeing
a
those
throwback
legs move so fast. Chef's kiss, baby. Okay, anyways.
then. What if?
What
Anyways, yeah, let's talk spoiler-free reactions to this week's episode for those who have not watched the episode.
I'll go first.
You seem like you wanted to, yes.
Yeah, because this was the best
Raring to go.
episode.
There you
Best
go.
episode that
Let's
we've
go.
had so
Let's
far.
go.
You know what?
Just
I
tell me
really
why.
loved the zombies. I loved last week with Party Thor, but this is exactly what I wanted to see. And granted, I know that Robert California
Right.
can't stand him, but it didn't matter. I was all in on this episode. I don't want to say anything else because I know that it'll be spoiled, but I loved it. You guys go.
All right. I guess I'll go next. This is kind of what I wanted. Like, this is what I think we're talking about for weeks. What happens in this episode without spoiling it. So, like, that aspect of the episode, I really liked a lot. I was kind of bored through the first half, and I was like, oh, what's going to happen this episode? Is anything going to happen? Like, I was like, this might be my least favorite, and then in comes, Ultron and all the bad stuff and the Watcher, and not to go into too many spoilers, but then it becomes awesome. So yes, very excited to see where this goes. I feel like this is more like, I think the last episode is going to be my favorite if they do something really crazy, because I think that's where it's leading, but I think it was too much just in the last half of the episode because I just didn't really care much for the other characters that were in the first half of the episode.
That's funny. I actually found that those characters were my favorite. And I think we can say it. I don't think it's a spoiler to say
Maybe
that
not, I don't know.
Black Widow and Hawkeye were kind of the main characters in the first half. And
Yeah.
I actually thought they were great. I'm like, I actually enjoyed watching them. So
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe, yeah, and I get that, hey, it could be, yeah, it's a difference of opinion. I get it.
That's fine. I was just bored. That was my take. Half and half.
So for me, I think that, again, at the very start, when you see the opening credits, it kind of colors my view for how this episode's going to be. And I'm like, okay, Jeremy Renner's the only real name. I know that Lake Bell voices Black Widow. And so everyone else was relatively unknown. Like, they didn't even have James Spader, even though the title is What If
Yeah, I
Ultron
was
won.
weird. I was like looking for his name. I'm like, okay.
So they couldn't even
No
get
Paul
James
Bettany.
Spader to reprise his role. And so that was interesting. But the episode itself, I think that I kind of got spoiled by it by a Hyundai commercial, which is the oddest place to be spoiled by what's happening
Wow.
in What If.
I think I saw the commercial.
Yeah, we'll
during
go
the
into
football
that once
game.
we get to our spoiler section.
Interesting. I don't watch commercials. I have no idea. Interesting. All right.
And so you kind of have an idea that this wasn't going to just be an anthology series. Like, there was an
They
idea
hinted at it
there.
for a while. Right.
But this feels like Infinity War, and just in terms of kind of piecing ideas together. Like, Infinity War is not perfect. It's not necessarily the best Marvel movie, but what it pieces together means a lot within the 23 films. And that's how I feel like this episode is. To Prague's point, I feel like once the Watcher's on screen, this episode
Changes.
is outstanding.
Yeah.
but it does take a bit to get there. It's a little like, okay, we've seen devastation before in the Marvel universe. I get it. So I think it's just because of what it means. It's like why I'm such a sucker for Endgame, and it's just the Loki episode of just the bigger ideas of the Marvel universe and having things threaded together. I love that. I will always love that, and Marvel's doing it better than anybody else.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how did
Hey,
you
what?
feel, Michelle?
Oh, thank you, Alex. I don't have much to add. I would agree that I thought it was a little slow in the beginning, and it took a little while to kind of heat up. I thought the point of view might be the wrong word for it, but the way they came at this what if was interesting, because I feel like in a lot of the other ones we saw the before leading into the after, and this felt more like an after, and kind of seeing the ramifications more so of the what if, and I thought that was a really interesting take of it. Yeah, and then also the general ramifications of this episode and the connections, like Trevor pointed out, I noticed as well. So I guess touch more on that when we're talking about spoilers.
But it
Not
sounds
going
like
to spoil anything this time.
Nice.
it
That's what I
sounds
forgot.
like out of all of us, we all really enjoyed this episode, though. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Wow. We
On
all
your side,
agree.
Marvel's
Alex.
doing.
Don't worry.
I love it. What?
We agree with you. We like the episode.
Awesome. Well, hey, before we get into our spoilers, make sure that you guys check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can check out all of our episodes, our social medias, everything all over there on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can do cool little things like voicemails. You can send us stuff, or send us voicemails. You can't send us stuff. That would be pretty cool, right? Hey, DM us. I'll give you my address if you want to send me
slide
something.
on. Yeah.
Just make sure it's not anthrax or something. That'd be weird.
Well, that was-
Anyways,
That's
I don't need an anthrax CD. Good Lord. Anyways, that's
Guess we're
never
not getting
mind.
Scotty in on this. All right.
While you're over there, check out some of our other sister shows like the Dorksman, Movie Gap, Three Beers and a Mic, Dan Aykroyd Podcast, Front Row Negative, Burn Appetit, and so many more. That's all at crossthestreamsmedia.com. Also, check us out on all of our social medias at Secondary Heroes. That includes YouTube, which if you're on YouTube watching right now, there's a little button down there. It's a thumbs up button. Smack it right now. Hey, we'll wait. It's cool. Ah, there we go. Thumbs up, baby. Woo! Okay. So anyways, just remember all of this that we do, we're not getting paid for this. This is all free for you and priceless to us.
We're not getting paid for this?
Wait, you're getting paid?
No, I'm not. I thought we were going to. No one
No,
told
I'm
me.
not
I
getting
think it's gonna
paid.
be at the
Wait.
end of the year, like a cumulative thing.
Oh, Trevor, we're going to need to talk, brother.
Hmm.
Anyways, that's
Oh,
our
that's
socials.
Where this was coming.
Trevor's bogarting all the money.
He is. All right, let's dive into some spoilers.
There might be a few cents. I think I found a dime on the street. It might have been worth more.
Hey, man, split it up, man.
Nickel and diming us, per usual, Trevor. All right. So let's start out with your favorite part of the episode, Alex, the beginning.
I
First
wouldn't say
half.
it was my favorite part, but I will say that it took characters that I absolutely despised in the actual movies, and it
Yeah.
turned them into characters that I actually wanted to see more of. Like, I actually enjoyed watching them on screen and seeing them work together and I mean, it was a little hokey, the bow and arrow stuff, because, I mean, physically, that's what he was doing was not possible. But then again, he did have a metal arm. That's right. He's got a metal arm. Hawkeye's got a metal arm in this one. But I really liked their dynamic. I liked that you could tell that they cared about each other and that they lost a lot together and that they really were working hard to solve this. And I don't know. I just really enjoyed their dynamic in this, which is weird because I couldn't stand them in the movies.
Because you weren't very different in this, but okay.
But here's the thing is we didn't have anybody else to compare him to. There was no Iron Man flying around. There was no Thor. There was no God. There was no monster. There was nothing else. It was just a dude and a girl who both are superior in what they do, but it's not like they're superhuman. It was just regular people trying to do good things. I don't know.
Fair
I
point,
kind of
fair
like
point.
that.
I like it. All right.
Like
Well,
there was no superheroes in this.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
like
so
that.
to
That's a good
that
point.
point, yeah, Michelle brought it up while we were watching it, and I was like, you know what they actually do is they've always had to fight for something. Like, again, when you're Thor or Captain Marvel, you don't really have to fight. You like even Captain America, you're just so on a different level. You don't have that I have to fight for absolutely everything. And so they're scrappier. Like that's a stupid term to use,
Scrappier.
but it's
No,
still
but it makes
it
sense.
works.
No, it
Right.
works. It totally works. Yeah. I
Yeah, I'm
think
not
that's
opposed to them being the character, like that type of character, being in the beginning of the episode. I just felt like it was slow for me. It wasn't bad. I was just like, I hope the whole episode isn't like this. That's all.
It's also another emphasis of how much better Lake Bell is as Black Widow's voice than Scarlett Johansson.
yes. And I think that for me, maybe it is Scarlett Johansson that I just don't really care for as Black Widow because I don't know. It sounds like she's been smoking for the last 80 years and she's got that raspy voice and it drives me nuts as I'm talking in a very raspy voice, but that's because I'm sick right now. So hopefully you guys stay away from me. I'm a little sicky boy.
Oh boy. All right. Sick in the head.
I've got my Scarlett Johansson voice on right now.
Oh boy. So, all right. Well, that was the beginning of the episode. Well, any other takeaways from that first test? I feel like we're going to talk a lot about the second half, more so than the first half.
Well, I did take notes because I noticed in this episode that that they kept referencing other movies in this. Like out of the entire series, they haven't really mentioned any other like movies or franchises
Like outside of the
like
MCU, you mean?
like outside of the MCU. Yeah. So they mentioned Terminator. Captain Marvel.
Oh yes, they did.
Says,
The weird throwaway line.
Yeah, it was such a weird line to say to a robot. Indiana Jones was referenced.
Yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Yeah.
And then Star Wars was referenced, and then The Matrix was somewhat referenced with the computer, the Russian computer guy.
Right. Right.
So I was thinking, wow, they're kind of going all over the place with their like talking about these movies. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Peter does that in Infinity War. He's
Right,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
that's
Mr.
what his
Stark,
thing
have you
is,
seen
right.
that old movie?" He does it in Civil War too, and yeah,
I mean, to me, I always saw that as Marvel kind of, it's like the everyday man kind of trope where they want someone the audience can relate to. So, like,
Right.
so I feel like, especially they're really hammering in that Hawkeye and Black Widow, they're just human. Like, they don't have powers. They don't come from any other dimensions or worlds or anything. They're just human. And I feel like they're really trying to just hammer that home by putting in those references.
And I dig that. And that helps for the everyman watching. At least that's how I take it, because I'm the everyman. I like that type of stuff. I like references. I don't know why. I just do.
Everyone likes references.
I like
Speaking
references.
of references, Clint has an invisibility cloak,
Oh, yeah.
which was
Harry
next to
Potter.
a Harry Potter episode.
Oh yes, he does. I
last
totally
week.
forgot about that part.
Yeah, Alex, I heard you said, what if Harry Potter was Batman, but clearly it was what if Harry Potter was Hawkeye?
Yep. Sorry, Alex.
Oh my god. Wow.
There you go.
What is happening tonight? This is
Yeah.
great, guys. I love what's happening. Now we're intertwining the universes into our other episodes. I love it.
I like it too. But I did have a nitpick, and it was with
Ooh.
Captain Marvel. I know I try to champion her a lot on this show just because I like the movie. I honestly like the character much, but I do like her movie. But yeah, she's just cheesy, and that line didn't work. The Terminator line just fell flat for me. And the part that really annoyed me was I felt like Ultron, or Vision is Ultron in this what if scenario, didn't really use the other stones much. He just like blew stuff up, and I wanted to see what he would use with these stones against her to defeat her. Instead, it was just her going, "Oh my god, I'm gonna blow up," and everything blew up. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have all the stones, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Reverse
It was
time.
a little
and stuff.
anticlimactic, yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
like that's the big battle. I mean, that's the battle you want to see. They could have done like that instead of all this other stuff with those other two characters I've already forgotten about because I don't care about them at all.
And
I don't know. Captain Marvel's just so overconfident, just like when she was fighting Thor,
That's true.
and it was
No, I
it was
get
annoying
it. I get it.
again.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. But I still would have liked to have seen like Ultron do more stuff with the stones at that point.
I know, What
Yeah.
you would do with Captain
Right.
Marvel is just use the reality stone and put her in this world where she thinks
Yeah.
she's saving the day and won
Exactly.
and stuff.
She's
And
like,
just,
yeah,
she's just trapped in this little reality where she thinks
So
she's successful.
great.
You never have to hear from her again.
Yeah, but that's what you get for it's a robot wielding the Infinity Stones. He's not creative the way humans are. He
That's
just
fair.
he just
It's not a-
kills
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So, and that, I think that's what I was mentioning last week whenever we saw Ultron with all of the stones. I kept thinking, okay, well, I thought that it was organisms that can only wield the stones, but yeah, with a robot wielding the stones, they are programmed to just do one thing. So it doesn't matter what kind of stones they have, they're just going to do this one thing, and it's just to
Yeah, that makes
destroy. For him, it was just to destroy or
Just
make
Bring
peace.
peace, yeah.
Yeah.
He did bring
Fun
peace.
storytelling. That's
We were talking about that too because we're talking about villains and their motivations, and it's like, why do villains always just want to destroy everything and rule everything? And it's like you actually see Ultron
right at
complete
the end.
his whole programming thing, and it's like he was like, and then they're like, oh, he's sad and alone. It's like, well, yeah, what do you expect?
So,
Yeah.
He's a robot.
Robot.
He just does what he's told. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he has sentience, which he claims that he does, but apparently he doesn't have that much.
Now, if you guys don't mind, I want to jump back to the battle with Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Were they fighting in the core of that world?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, they
Like-
were.
Like, and they were moving just willy-nilly. Hey, I'm in the middle of this Earth and gravity that should be crushing us right now. No, I'm still throwing punches and exploding
Like the
planets.
stones? I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I was just, yeah. I mean, it was a cool visual for a second, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm in disbelief. I can't
I
believe
kinda-
these people are flying and fighting in the center of Earth.
With no regards for the human life or
Right.
Xandarian
Yeah.
life on the surface. I actually kind of enjoyed that little tour of all the planets, and like they
Yes.
showed the heroes on the
Yes.
other planets and all these places that we've been before. I was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
That was cool.
Watching him destroy everything we know.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was neat.
Even Ego. I thought the Ego was a fun little.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
fun.
He just
I did
literally
enjoy
destroyed the planet. Yeah.
that was cool. Absolutely.
So that part. was-
But yeah, even seeing, I mean, it was neat seeing like the Guardians of the Galaxy, they got blown up. I mean, it was really interesting seeing, I don't know, just the majority of that stuff. It's wild.
Did you like Thanos getting sliced in two? Like
It was so
it was
easy.
just like such a quick dismissal.
Unreal. Like, and you would think Thanos would, I mean, he had what, 4 or 5 of the stones? There's 6 stones, right?
He had 5.
Yeah.
He had 5 of the stones, and like, he didn't see anything like that coming.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit plot holy there. I think he definitely would have at least put up some. I don't think it would be that easy to just slice him in half with one stone if he has 5 of the other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really making the Mind Stone seem like it's the most powerful stone, which I don't necessarily think that it is.
Right. I can't imagine either.
It is powerful, but it's not like it shouldn't trump the rest.
It
If
shouldn't
put
be
together.
more powerful than the Power Stone that has power in its
Think,
name.
right? You would think.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a little ridiculous that like he had one stone and he just totally took out Thanos, and Thanos, which I saw Thanos come in, I'm like, oh sweet, and then it dead. Wow,
It's like,
man.
What If is really dismissing Thanos. I don't know
Yeah,
who
seriously.
oversaw What If, but they're like, don't like Thanos at all. They're like, oh, he sucks. Don't worry.
Well, it's almost like they're really trying to get it. Well, maybe not. I don't know, because I keep going back to the stones. I keep thinking, well, they're trying to get away from the whole stones and the Thanos storyline, but
right.
God, everything is about stones and Thanos.
They need to get out of the Stone Age, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Prague. Oh, Prague did it. He did it. Snaps for Prague, everybody. Snaps for Prague.
That's right. Thanks. Be here all night.
Yes, you will.
'Cause I have to. All right.
Let's move
from
on.
that then.
So do we
So
want to go
some
where
fun stuff.
Ultron
Nobody's gone
breaks
before?
through the prism?
That is where no one's gone before, though, Alex.
Yeah.
Very true. Sure,
kinda
yeah. I thought
Shook the
that was
watcher a bit.
so
He
neat.
was like, what? He's like, what?
Well-
How'd you do that?
Did we experience that in another episode where someone was like, who said
Doctor
that?
Strange.
Yes.
It was Doctor Strange. That's who it was.
But Doctor Strange at that point was not powerful enough to escape, which it looks like in this at the end he managed to
He
figure it
is,
out.
yeah. Oh no, he's not. It's
Oh,
that when the
didn't?
Watcher,
Yeah.
the Watcher goes to hide. He hides in.
Oh, I
Doctor
didn't realize
Strange's
that.
prism. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that
I
at
thought it
first
was like-
too, and then
okay,
they zoom
okay.
out.
That makes more sense. I was like, maybe he figured it out while he was sitting in there for eons or something.
What a cool.
Okay.
And the last credit was like
Yeah.
special guest Benedict. Wait, because if they would have added that at the beginning, we would have all been like, okay, where's Strange? Where's Strange at?
Right.
I think
it was just nice.
it would have been like a spoiler to have his name at the beginning. It was really nice that they put it at the end. I think it really kept that surprise in.
Yeah, so since we're talking about spoilers, again, there's this Hyundai commercial that they showed, I think, during Saturday night or Sunday Night Football or something.
Sorry.
And it's like, check out all the Disney Plus shows, and Wanda makes an appearance, and then
Uh-oh.
Falcon makes an appearance, and then Loki makes an appearance, and then they transition to What If. And there's all these Ultron robots, and Party Thor's hammering them away, and Peggy's
In the
throwing
Kia,
the shield
right?
at him. Yeah. And then Doctor Strange shows up, and T'Challa Star-Lord shows up. And I'm like, well, that's the climax of the whole series you
Hold
showed
on,
in a
yeah.
commercial.
So we've been seeing that for a while since they first talked about What If. That was like one of the first things that I ever saw was that
I don't
scene.
usually want, like, it takes football for me to watch commercials. And so that's
Yeah.
the first time I've seen it.
I mean, but you guys have
Hmm.
been calling that, right? I know you've talked about it, that the whole point of this is they're going to bring together all of the supers from all these different
Joey on our
multiverses.
first episode
Yeah.
said that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Well,
Joey.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So now we have the heroes of the multiverse set up because the Watcher,
Got us asking.
he literally said, "What the hell was that?" when Ultron kind of comes through. Like, you know what I mean? Because first the episode starts with the Watcher saying, "Oh, this is a sad universe. This one breaks my heart," and he's just going to tell the story of it. And then Ultron figures it out, and
Well, maybe if the Watcher didn't talk so much.
I
I know, he doesn't talk a lot, huh? He's monologuing up there.
He's got his own podcast that he's gonna tell everybody.
this isn't actually his podcast.
I like when
Welcome to the
Ultron called
Watcher
him
Podcast.
creepy.
Yeah,
When they
right.
were fighting, and he was like, "This is better. Be among them. Less creepy."
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, which whenever I heard that, I'm like, wait, you're a robot. How do you how can you kind of decipher what is creepy and what's not?
Oh, he
Because
knows.
That's fair.
he's a robot. How would he know?
No, I don't know. I don't
Was
know
that
how-
in his programming?
Yeah, it's
By
not
the
for-
way, people who watch other people are creepy. I 000 I 00. Sorry, that's binary code.
we know.
Isn't
It would just be a
isn't
one.
binary ones?
It's ones and zeros. Isn't it?
I'm an idiot. I was looking. Okay.
All right,
Move
so
on.
I do have kind of a question though about this, and it relates to Loki and the TVA. So in this one, Ultron has the Infinity Stones. He's able to break through because of the Infinity Stones. But it seems like in Loki, the idea is that outside of this reality, the stones are useless. They're only really useful and have power within the actual like universe, the pocket universe, so to
That's
speak.
really
Once you go
fair, like-
outside, they're mute, right? Like he'd be powerless out there.
You would think that when he went into the Watchers like universe, that they would just be inert and he would just be a robot.
He
again.
would just be Ultron.
That-
he only has
yeah.
Ultron.
I mean,
powers.
that would make for a less fun episode, but it would make a lot more sense
might
in the
be
whole.
great. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like either we haven't learned something yet about this what if type idea,
Mhm.
or they missed that somehow.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
someone
wait,
on the
so-
team wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
what if might be its own thing just because it's
Right.
animated, but
That's what I'm
if it's,
thinking.
I feel like the Watcher, this is going to inspire him to be live action at some point.
I hope so. As I say, be nice. What do
I
you
was
did-
just curious, like when they're fighting and Ultron's like punching him and they're like breaking through the realities and stuff, and I kept going like, okay, well, any second they're just gonna go back to Ultron's original reality, and then the link will work with the hive mind, and then Ultron will be
Oh,
done. And I'm
yeah.
like, why isn't the Watcher taking him back to his own reality? Like he should be able to have some control over that, but
True.
it didn't
Good
happen.
point.
Should we mention that's what Hawkeye and
Oh yeah, I guess.
They
Go.
had their own mission while the Watchers dealing with stuff.
Well, the Watcher knew what it was too. He was right there. He's like egging them on. He's like, there it is, there it is.
I
Yeah,
can't
right?
intervene, but it's right there.
So he knew they found it too. He knew that the answer was in their universe,
Yeah.
but he just forgot.
Timing is weird with someone who can know all things happening at once. Like, he's telling the narration for our understanding as humans. But there's the whole narration expanded out. Like, it's not necessarily linear. Like, he knows that Hawkeye and
Right.
Scarlet and Black Widow are going to find this file. He knows that timeline. And so how does Ultron come through while he's still in a linear point where they still haven't found it yet?
Oh,
That's what happens when you
weird,
deal with
man.
time stuff.
I know.
Timey-wimey
It's
stuff,
tough.
it's weird.
Got to be careful with it. Got to have some good writers to helm that kind of narrative.
They've been holding their own.
I mean,
pretty good
they-
so far.
I know they are.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
they-
there
they
are
did
some
some.
tricky plot holes you're going to run into almost regardless when you're doing time
Well,
travel.
it's like that whole plot hole in Loki with the time traveling and how it didn't break the timeline, and they're like, "Oh, that was part of the timeline."
Right. It's like actually, it is.
I was like, "All right, okay."
Yeah, you kind of.
Oh,
I'll
weird.
allow it. It's one of those. Kind
Man,
of things, I guess.
it's just now raising a whole lot more questions. Like, and by going through the multiple universes, I don't know now.
I like that though. I like shows that do that. That kind of make you think and talk about it afterwards, rather than just be like, "Oh, okay, I guess everyone died."
But that just means now that the finale is he's gonna end up somewhere where that robot that they infected then turned green. He's now going to I don't know.
So they're gonna have all these here. That's the distraction. They have to distract him
Is
or something.
Right, with the heroes, right? Okay.
Well, because we were talking about it, and we're like, "Oh, so the next episode, so they're gonna bring on the Super Sailor." So what about Thanos Gamora? Because she was advertised, and we haven't seen her yet.
Okay, how
Yeah,
does
she might-
Thanos Gamora fit into this? Because is it she has the power of Thanos but is good?
Yeah, essentially.
Oh man.
So,
I mean, it's just-
oh
it's just-
jeez, this is too much to think about, man.
Because again, what Peggy does and what T'Challa Star-Lord does, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because they had a Captain America and they had Star Lord
True.
universe.
Yeah,
So-
those didn't do anything to Ultron. So it's going to take this super dark, powerful Doctor Strange, and then it's going to take something else.
The robot.
Yeah,
and here's the
the
thing, like-
Zola
The Zola
robot,
robot.
where he uploaded his mind in like the 50s or the 60s. That's what's going to do it
Yep.
with Black Widow. I liked how he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll connect in and just defeat him. So Ultron defeated, Vision in the movie that we know. And
Jarvis,
so, yeah,
yeah.
he defeats
Right.
Jarvis. But this guy, the Zola guy, is somehow going to be better than Jarvis.
And
They're
he's
acting
from the
like,
60s.
oh, I'll just hack into the mainframe. This is like those movies where he's just typing on a keyboard. Don't worry, I got this. Hacker time.
I got this.
Huh, that's interesting.
So,
Yeah.
oh, fun.
It is.
Oh man, they didn't really think that out, did they? Oh, and so what was it? Last episode I was like, man, Ultron looks like someone else. And I finally figured it out. His silhouette looks like Galactus.
Yeah, everyone's been saying that online.
Oh, really?
It does.
Yeah, it's like- I think it was an
brought it
intentional-
I
up.
was
It's
thinking about that
Galactus.
this
Yeah.
episode.
No,
was
I
an
didn't bring it up
intentional
on the
nod.
podcast, but it's definitely a Galactus look.
I
Yeah.
was
No,
thinking
they
about
did it
this
on
episode. I'm
purpose.
like, he looks like someone. Who does he look like?
They even have him like devouring like worlds in it. Like
Right.
they show him like how
Yeah,
They
that
have
one
him-
where he zooms
When
out.
he bites the universe, yeah.
so.
See, and
So
okay,
this
so
is the story about how Ultron becomes Galactus. That's
Yeah.
what we're looking at.
That-
There
that's
you
what this
go.
one is.
Exactly.
oh, dude, Silver Surfer, please.
Yeah. Soon.
And let Kelly
It's
Slater
coming.
play Silver Surfer.
Okay.
That'd be rad. He already looks like him. Jeez, paint the guy gold or silver or whatever he is. Silver. I literally
Paint gold.
said,
Paint
God,
the
can we
Silver
please
Surfer
edit that out?
gold.
Please.
Hold
Okay,
on.
guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like an idiot right now. I'm going to take a timeout. You guys are going to have to talk now. I'm taking at least a 2-minute timeout.
Okay, so
end the episode.
you can't really top that. But when going back when Ultron's punching him through the different realities, it's cool that it's always kind of like they start in Times Square and you see like there's a Kree version of it and you see there's the Wakanda version of it. They go through all these different timelines. Do you want to see where Steve Rogers becomes president?
Well,
That's where they land first.
on the Twitterverse was that because everyone assumes that was probably our timeline. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way it would have been part of the sacred timeline. It would have messed up everything, I think. I don't think it would have made sense. So I think it's in a different universe. So
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no way it's part of the sacred timeline.
Yeah, he has to become Captain America.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just the president doesn't do anything.
Exactly. But it'd be fun to see what he does as president versus Captain America. Does he have powers or not, you know? Like maybe he never got the serum, but he still wanted to be someone, so he became
He's like that Hydra Stomper from Peggy's timeline.
Well, no, he has to have powers because the Times Square they show is modern.
I know, that's what's weird. He has to survive.
Oh, you're right.
So he is Captain America, but also president.
President
Captain America.
Okay, sure.
Well, they said there's going to be spin-offs from What If.
No, just like imagine the president go and he rips his suit off and he has the Cap outfit and he gets his shield and he just goes takes care of stuff.
Exactly. He's at the UN. He's like, "Rah." Oh, okay.
They're like the Secret Service. They're like, you guys can just go home. We don't need.
We don't sign the Soviet Accord. You're like, okay, Captain America. I mean, Mr. President. I mean, sir. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I got in this episode. Unless you guys have anything else.
At the end, Ultron, he said, "You can run, you can watch it." It just was like the Thanos speech of dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same as the whole idea.
Okay, 2 minutes is up. I'm back.
You put yourself in timeout. That's cute.
I'm a father. I have to do stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So do you think that Captain America, not just the president, but do you think that could have been like a Loki dressed up as Captain America?
That it's like it's like some Inception level thing of who it actually is.
Exactly.
I know, and I know that was only like a really quick, like it was like so fast.
There should have been a Times Square of Lokis. That would have been good.
Oh, that would have been good. Nice.
I mean, I was talking to Trevor about this too. Is like what you see in this episode with him literally breaking into the multiverse. And so you don't see it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but in WandaVision and in Loki, they deal a lot with like opening the multiverse, and they're like in all their Disney Plus shows except Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right? So, is that what for whatever reason, right?
Yeah. Maybe that's what makes it the worst one. But this is where I say hot take.
Hot take.
I think it's common knowledge at this point.
You see that, and then I meet so many people that are like, "Oh yeah, I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier," and I'm like,
"Are you kidding?"
And you just look at them like,
"We won't talk Marvel anymore. Don't worry. Go enjoy your Falcon and Winter Soldier."
Yeah, I just love how they're doing that so much with like the Disney Plus shows. Is they're really hammering at the multiverse. Like they really want to break this open so they can explore it more. So it's just funny that they act like the Disney Plus shows aren't going to be must watches for the MCU going forward, but I can't see how that's even possible. The more shows that come out,
they were being silly. They knew it was going to be.
They were being silly. Come on,
Kevin Feige, that guy.
You know, at the end of it all, it's going to be special guest Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
So then it's going to be like, oh, great. Now I got to go back and rewatch all that stuff. Except for Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's not going to tie into anything.
So, did you guys like the Watcher when he suited up? Just that look?
No.
It was weird. It was kind of weird.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was funny.
I thought it was silly that he armored his entire body except for his gigantic dome.
Head.
Like,
there's a big dome that looks easily punchable.
Yeah, exactly. Your head is your most, like, you need that more than anything else. You can live without an arm, dude.
The silliness of it's what I liked.
And how dare they split Thanos in two, but then he has a fist fight with the Watcher?
Well, the Watcher's a Celestial, right? And Thanos is not, yeah. I asked him that too, and I was like, can you kill a Watcher? And he said, yeah. It's really hard. But
yeah, but he didn't use anything except for punching. he might have kicked a couple times.
The punches were with the Power
Yeah.
Stone, though.
They showed he used some of the
So they were
stones
powerful
there.
punches.
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw him using like he was like blasting stuff at him, and you saw the Watcher had some magic shield of some sort and was like pushing through it. And
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I'm on board now.
it was definitely interesting to see the Watcher doing something.
Yeah. It took Ultron. So if Ultron wins, what happens is the Watcher gets involved. That's essentially the
Mhm.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys
that's how
even
powerful
mentioned,
Ultron is.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned that that Ultron kind of got a bad rap in the movies.
Yeah, he got the short straw.
He really
Yeah.
did.
And I wonder what that is. I wonder if it was because they only wanted like one movie with him.
I think it's more difficult to convey to audiences.
Okay.
It could be, yeah, and it's not. I guess robots aren't as exciting as a living creature kind of thing. Like if they've already done Terminator movies and stuff, it could be a rehash. Or could have been that they just wanted Thanos to be the main story, and they're
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
if you want Ultron, do it for one movie, then kill him off, kind of thing.
Yeah, if they were gonna do Ultron justice, they really needed to do
Save Ultron.
Yeah, save him the way they needed him to be a Thanos kind of villain, where he stretched across the
like-
entire.
They've saved
Yes.
Kang specifically to follow in. You could have Ultron
Yeah.
saved like that.
I maybe whoever decided, I don't know, they just didn't think Ultron was this big of a deal
I
for
think
some reason.
in 2000, does it come out in 2012? They weren't maybe sure they'd reach these heights.
That's fair.
True. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I know
And Disney also didn't give him more free reign back in 2012.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
Maybe-
2008 and 2010 were still Paramount movies. So Disney must have acquired them right like 2011. It's okay. No, the first Avengers is 2012. Ultron's
trying to think.
2016. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tracking.
I mean, it's true. Maybe they never saw anything past Thanos. Maybe it's like, okay, they're going to defeat Thanos and that's it. The MCU will be over. Maybe they never were like, or we keep going. And then they can do another really big bad, like Kong.
It's like, okay, so we wasted Ultron. What do we got? And they're like, Kang shows up. Use him.
Yeah, could be.
But to jump back a little bit, you guys had mentioned the maybe robots aren't as interesting as
That was me.
organic.
I'm sorry. I don't know. How is it
No. Which originally I would have said yeah, totally, until I saw this episode.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like now I'm like, damn, he can do some stuff.
It's
And
so
he looks
interesting
pretty
because
rad.
Sci-fi focuses so much on like robots and like them taking over because so much of our life is involved in technology, and it's like one of like the horror aspects of sci-fi. So it's really interesting that they couldn't do more with that in Ultron and like
It's
really
not so
make it
much a
relate to
if.
audiences.
It's a win.
Which is why you treat all of your electronics with respect.
I want to pet all of them. Yes.
Don't
Roomba.
please.
Well,
I
yes.
I
agree.
spend a lot of money on electronics. Yeah, I don't want them to rise up and destroy me.
Yeah, like I haven't watched Black Mirror, but I'm assuming they've dealt with that before.
Oh.
Black Mirror, and there's
Black
been
Mirror,
times.
that's all that Black Mirror is. Yeah.
The robot dogs. Can we talk Black Mirror now?
No.
I'd rather
You
talk
did.
Black Mirror.
It was episode 7. We're on like 100 and whatever. Episode
come on.
7, we talked about
Come on,
Black Mirror.
Alex.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago, man. People need.
Well, Black Mirror's not
Anyways.
doing anything.
I know.
If they came out with something new,
Yeah,
I
then maybe
guess.
we'll revisit it someday later if they do.
Okay.
So
Well,
and then just before we do end, seriously, how powerful is this Doctor Strange? Because when we see the glimpse of him, he has that one extra eye and he has some horns going. It's fun. He's like all of these creatures are very powerful because they're essentially different dimensional beings. So it's not. It kind of fits in with it's not a different universe, but it's still different
Sure.
dimensions.
exactly.
I
So
like
he's pretty
this Doctor
powerful.
Strange a lot, so I'm excited
he's
that he'll
rad.
be
He's
making a
rad.
comeback.
He is rad. Yeah, I agree.
Golf
and I think
Doctor
he's pretty powerful.
Strange.
Goth Strange.
yeah, not
Gonna see
not
him
in
at
my
Comic Con
alley,
next
but-
year.
Not
Oh,
your
yeah,
thing,
You're
Alex?
gonna see a
Okay.
lot of them. No, I wasn't too excited about Dark Doctor Strange. I don't know. It wasn't. Maybe it was the look. I don't know. Maybe it was too goth for me. I had that. I had that stage for like 2 weeks in high school, and I got over it pretty quick.
Goth is a lifestyle, man.
Still wore the Jinkos though.
It's not a phase.
Definitely wore the Jinkos.
I just like that they even took that like direction where they're like, let's take one of the like Avengers and make them a villain. Like, not a villain, kind of, but using their powers for bad instead of good. I just thought that was really cool. Like, just a cool.
And then he's gonna have to save the day.
Yeah, he is. Redeem himself.
Because no one can truly. You can't have evil hero. That would be bad.
Well, was this in the comics at all? Like, or was this all just kind of made up for the show?
This is all made up.
There's a whole What If comic series.
I mean, there are What If. Yeah, there's a What If series, but no, these are unique What Ifs.
Okay. I just wanted to double check, see if this was maybe a actual book. Wow, you guys only got 20 minutes to talk about some
I know.
Rings, so why don't you guys get on to some Lord of the Rings?
Think of Clint and Black Widow swapping who fell.
Oh yeah, the whole recreation of the Soul Stone.
I actually like that.
I
liked it because
I enjoyed that part. That was okay.
I get it both. If I want to see one of them go, I watch Endgame. If I want to watch the other, I just turn this episode on. It's so facto. It works.
It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They both get to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Yada yada yada.
I do like when Clint's going down and he shoots off the bomb and there's that whole gold background. It looks just like a big like multi-page comic layout.
Yeah.
Like you would open a comic and you'd have that exact panel.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, it was great. And it looked great. And I mean, with all of the robots down below with their eyes glowing red, and he's just slow motion falling towards them. Oh, yes. I really liked it. Definitely
Awesome.
better than the way Black Widow went in Endgame.
That's episode 8. We're excited for what episode 9 brings. But rather than having gauntlets and infinity stones and Ultrons, you just have one ring to rule them all.
And my axe.
And you're what?
Well, clearly someone's never even watched the films. Oh boy.
Oh,
all right.
Axe. Okay, got it. Okay.
Oh my,
Axe.
what did you think? She
Guess
said.
what I heard? Hey, guess what I heard, Prague?
You should have said both.
I should have said bow. Hawkeye would fit
Orlando
right in.
Bloom.
I feel like I should give a disclaimer, and I'm sorry, Prague. I have read the books. I'm not a huge fan of the books. I love the movies. If anyone wants to fight me about it, I have many reasons why I do not like the books, and that is the main one being Tolkien is not a very good writer. He's a great world builder, great language writer. He was a linguist as a person, not a great writer. But he made great characters, and the movies just made them better characters.
I might surprise you here, but I 100% agree. I do not care for his writing.
Okay.
I enjoyed the world.
Yeah,
like when I read the books, I'm like, I want it. When I read the books, all I can think of is what would it look like as a movie, and then it became a movie, and I went, this is it. It's like the books are just dry and boring, and I got through them.
They're very dry.
But the movies,
So
yeah.
So my what ifs are coming more from the movies than the books.
Okay.
And I haven't read any of the extended.
No Tom Bombadil.
I can't even say it. None of that.
Okay. So,
all right.
So, tell me about Orlando Bloom.
Boy.
So he's the Hawkeye of the Lord of the Rings.
He's so much better than Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is the bridge between Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and one concept.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay, I won't get into like listen is cool arrow shots and all that stuff. We won't get into that because that's not what this episode is. Do you want to go first, Prague? Would you like me to start?
Either way, taster's choice.
Well, mine's a pretty obvious one for anybody who is a Lord of the Rings fan. And that is, what if Faramir went to Rivendell instead of Boromir?
Take mine. All right, good.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty obvious one.
I thought that was obvious, but okay, good. All right. That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought I might have something here. Yeah, I have got nothing here, so.
He was not tempted by
I'll have one, Alex.
Thank you.
Off the 2 hours we watched, you'll have one.
So one of these guys is Ned Stark, right?
Yes, one of them is Sean Bean, the guy who, spoilers if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, Sean Bean, as he does in most things, dies at the end of the first movie.
Spoilers for everything he's in, by
Yes.
the way.
Yeah, whatever. Everyone knows. It's like a meme.
Yeah.
He tries to take the ring from Frodo, and it's basically the kind of the climax point for Frodo leaving this fellowship and going off on his own with Sam.
Don't worry.
Sorry, he's taking notes over here. It's distracting. So they show, it must be, is it in Return of the King that they show the flashback to Faramir?
Yes. In the extended edition,
like,
they do.
They're like, oh, I'll go. Yeah, extended edition's all I watch. So he's like, well, I'll go to Rivendell. And his dad, who is the biggest, awful,
Great actor, by the way. But yeah.
yes, great actor. He's so great. I despise him as a character.
Yeah.
When he dies, it's like one of my favorite scenes in the entire trilogy. He's like, no. He's like, you suck. Everyone hates you.
Yeah. No, my better son is going to go in your stead.
Yeah, my better son is going to go. And then his better son falls to the power of the ring.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he dies very graciously, but he still dies. And so it's interesting to think, I think Faramir wouldn't have fallen to the power of the ring.
That's
And
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
he would have seen to the whole thing. And that just gets into the whole, I mean, a lot of these what ifs could be, okay, well, what if this happened? Like, that would make the road to Mordor smoother, basically. And the whole journey is
different altogether because they may not have split up. You know, they may have gone together.
Yeah.
Yeah, a number of things could have happened in the forest that day with that decision.
I mean, maybe that would have led to them getting actually captured by the Uruk-hai. Like, who knows?
And would Faramir bend the knee to the king of rightful heir? Or would he be
I think he would have.
Yeah.
I think he would have.
Yeah.
He wasn't as proud as Boromir was.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
But I feel like at the same time, I think Boromir's death is a really important character growth point, especially for like Aragorn, where it really makes him like stand up and realize I need to take control of this. I think Boromir's death really was a catapulting point for Aragorn eventually taking his mantle of king. So
right.
So ramifications on both sides too.
Yeah. Would he have
Aragorn
wanted it?
Doesn't become king. He just
Right,
has
he
the
might
same
not. He might be
attitude
like
from the first
Faramir
movie.
might be like the better steward. He's like, you know what? Look at what you did. You resisted the power of the ring. Maybe you should, lead the charge, and I'll, leave with my lady. And
we'll go.
Yeah,
we'll depart these lands forever.
See you guys. Yeah, thanks.
It's interesting to think because Aragorn has this whole thing about, I don't want to be king. Pick up the mantle. I'm not going to take up the sword. I'm not going to be. It's like, well, what are you going to do then? Because
what are you going to do?
All the elves are leaving. Are you going to go with them? Because they don't have
sulk in pubs all the rest of your life in the corner. Don't be that guy. Come on.
So they probably. Well, it's also interesting. I'm like, I wonder if Faramir would have got them. Because they were going to the Gap of. Where were they going? Gap of Rohan. No, they made it through. So. Yeah.
The next series.
Which brings up one of the what ifs you mentioned to me.
Let's hear it.
What if Gandalf didn't die?
Yeah, so in the first I do want to say that since you were talking about Ned Stark, and he says you can't simply walk into Mordor. Yeah. What if they do simply walk into Mordor?
I mean,
yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically, they do.
They made it a whole tougher deal than it had to be. But anyway, so in the first movie, Gandalf dies stupidly because he has this whole protection spell on him that makes it so the Balrog can't get to him. But somehow when the Balrog's falling, the protection spell somehow goes away and the rope or whatever, the whip can grab his ankle and pull him down. So that's stupid. I don't know if the books explain it better. They didn't choreograph it properly in the movies. But what if he doesn't die? What if he doesn't fall right there? And so he just keeps going. And he doesn't come back as the white Gandalf. He stays as Gandalf the Grey.
I don't know if he would. I don't know if they're so you're saying he would still fall and not come back?
No, he doesn't fall.
He doesn't fall.
He doesn't fall. He
Balrog just goes and he goes with him and they continue on.
By the way, even though that's one of my favorite scenes in the movies, it is very stupid. Like every time I'm like, just climb up, go to him, like pick him up.
See, to me, I'm like, why isn't anyone going? They clearly just walk back and pull him up. He has his entire arm on top of the ledge.
So yes, I agree with you, Trevor. There, it was like
it always made me think that Gandalf meant to die there.
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe he knew. And
it's like he knows that he's supposed to die there. wizards are weird that way in Lord of the Rings. They never
are.
really make sense.
They arrive precisely when they mean to, and maybe they die precisely when they mean to.
Yeah.
Trevor,
But
okay?
I know,
planning
that's
on
why the
dying or
what if
that's
is-
why the what if is interesting.
I know it is. It is interesting. And then would he still have as much power then? Like he might not.
I don't
be able
think
to defeat
so.
Sauron.
Yeah, so because my thought was, well, Gandalf becoming Gandalf the White, that's how they go to Rohan and he exercises Saruman's power over the king. And it's
They-
like, well, if
Yeah.
they didn't do that and they all stayed together, then what happens to Rohan? Does it just get
Yeah.
overrun?
Well, they would be overrun. They wouldn't have them on their side. It would not work out too well for anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
for
then
Rohan, well, then Star-Lord would just do a dance battle and trick him.
Oh boy.
Oh no, that's Ronan. I'm sorry.
Hmm?
Please continue.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Only because
You
it was
know-
Lee Pace. That's the only reason why I care about that one.
Thanks, Frog.
we were watching Fellowship. He's like, so who's Lee Pace in all this? And I'm like, Legolas's
Oh
father.
my
Like,
god. He's not even in this movie.
He's like, I was like, he's not in this trilogy. But he's
Like a
Legolas's
whole
father.
other trilogy.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Trevor.
Well, okay, I got a what if then. What if
Oh, yeah?
those birds actually help them to get to the?
So that's the big one for me too. So the Deus Ex Machina eagles. What if they just get those eagles right from the start and just boom, throw the ring into the volcano, done.
Get in, get out.
so
You don't need to
there's a-
read 800 books.
Eagles.
Eagles,
The
baby.
The theory is that it was Gandalf's plan the entire time because when he's falling, he says, "Fly, you fools," and then he falls. And so a lot of people have the theory that he always intended for them to take the eagles, but they didn't understand. So they're like, "We're gonna walk." Uh,
Guys?
but
Why
Prague,
can't
maybe have you seen that How Lord of the Rings Should Have Ended short on YouTube?
No, if I have, it's probably been a very long time.
Okay, so that whole point of that is they're at the Council of Elrond, and they're like,
Yes, I remember
yeah.
this now.
and I almost called him Dumbledore because I'm a horrible Lord of the Rings fan. Gandalf goes, I have an idea that just might work, and they cut to everyone on the Eagles except for a few of the I think it's just Frodo and Gandalf on the Eagles. And then they have Aragorn and Boromir and Legolas and all of them. They're at the Black Gates, which is how you get into Mordor. And they're just like taunting Sauron and like getting him to turn his eye their way so they can sneak in and drop the ring in the whole time. And it takes like 5 minutes at the end. They're like, well, that was quick. It's like, yeah, imagine if we'd walked the whole way. One of us might have died. Like, so
Oh, that's good stuff.
This,
It's
yeah,
really
how it
good.
should have ended would have been is a really good what if series, really.
it
This
is
is
a
good.
really good
What
one.
What if at the end
Series.
instead of at the beginning of it? That's good.
No
Okay.
relation to this podcast, but it's a good series and watch it.
It is. It is.
Right,
So
I can
my
dig
my,
Yeah.
my what if is what if Galadriel gets the One Ring?
Ooh.
What if he handed it over and said, you know what, I think you're the ones to have it, even though she had that whole premonition and realized
Well,
she failed her test.
We haven't gotten to that scene yet, but because they have that whole point where he offers it to her
Yeah.
and she takes it and she has that whole thing about being a queen, beautiful and powerful, and I love that whole
Ruler of
scene.
all.
Yeah. The lighting is weird, but the whole scene is great.
Yeah, Unfortunately, but
but she can turn away from the power instead.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be really like, because even Gandalf says like he'd mean to do good, but
But at
there
the
is an
end-
evil thing at the end
So-
of the day.
Here's my take on this is that if you think about Tolkien himself as a writer, he wrote this because of war. He went to war. He saw what war does, what industry does. It destroys the earth. That's what Sauron is. And what Saruman becomes as well is the man destroying the earth, tearing down trees, killing people, not caring about human life, all this kind of stuff, right? But Galadriel's an elf. They love the earth. They love nature. Like, what if she wanted to destroy the earth but not the nature part of it, like just man? Like, what if she does? She gets the ring and says, you know what, man is terrible, I'm gonna kill you all. Elves are the true race, and because we take care of the land. So really she thinks she's doing good because she's gonna take care of the earth,
So
but
she's Thanos.
she's evil. Yeah, she's Thanos, really. That's a
Well,
good
actually,
point.
she's Ultron.
She's Ultron.
Oh, Ultron, actually, yeah, even
That's
more
how you
so.
create peace. You just kill humans.
You create peace, you kill everything else. Because
You
that's
can
what
leave the
allows
Hobbits, though.
Destroying
Yeah.
the nature as well. He wasn't keeping that nature around in the. Anyways, we're not talking about Ultron anymore.
We're making the connections, Alex.
Yeah, I
That's the whole
know. I know.
point.
Hey,
connection.
I get
So
it.
I think
Okay.
that's what happened if she were to have taken the ring.
It would definitely be interesting because I always go back to Gandalf's whole thing. He's like, I would take the ring with the intent to do good, but through me, the ring would do terrible things. Because at the end of the day, the ring is the one with the power, and anybody that takes it, except for Sauron. Sauron's the only person that could wield the ring. Anybody else, the ring basically wields them.
Yep.
Oh, that's what those movies were about.
That's what those
Yes.
movies are about, Alex. And there's a lot of battle scenes, like a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've seen
so
all the
many.
movies. I just can't remember anything. I remember Frodo because who doesn't like Elijah Wood? The guy's great.
Those eyes, man. It's those big blue eyes.
Those
That's
eyes
the other one. Too.
are crying.
So
Oh
the
yeah,
other
what
one
other
if
ones?
the week
Yeah.
was what if Sam was the ring bearer?
I've heard this one a lot. Yes, I like this one. I haven't really looked into it enough, but I like this idea.
Well, it makes
Would-
sense. Just like it's intriguing because Sam helps out so much, but Frodo,
Mhm.
like, imagine if he was there to help Sam. He brings nothing to the table. He has no value whatsoever. He's like the Harry Potter value to Hermione. He has nothing to bring to the table.
I like this analogy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sam is the best friend. He's the support system. He's the one that keeps
Mhm.
him going, stays optimistic.
That's why
Um,
he can't be the ring bearer, I think.
Yeah.
Do they just
don't wanna
fail
hurt
really quickly if Sam's the ring bearer?
Well,
maybe.
they
He's like, Frodo's like, I'm out.
They toy a little bit. Sam has the ring for a little bit in the third movie, and then Frodo asks for it back, and you see Sam hesitate to give it to him.
Yep.
So I wonder, it makes you wonder if Sam is very kind, but maybe his spirit isn't as strong as Frodo's is.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
Yeah,
maybe
but
it would
Frodo
have.
gave in to the ring, didn't he?
Yes,
No, that
at
was
the
like,
very end, though. Like he
Took a
made
long
it
time.
all the way there, and it took a long time. Like most people fall to the ring pretty quickly.
right. Because remember, who saves the day? Who saves everybody? Is my
Gollum.
person of all time. Gollum. Yes. The
Just
greatest-
because you guys resemble each other doesn't mean that he should.
What's dangerous, precious? I love that guy. Love him.
Boil him, mash him, stick him in a stew.
Oh man,
Ruins it.
there's got to be other ones. But I just wish I can remember the
Well,
movies. It's been so
the-
long.
There's another one. What if they don't get the information from Gollum?
Oh yeah.
Because they interrogate him, but I don't even know how they get him in the first place, and so they
They-
don't know about the Shire or Bagginses or anything.
Oh, wow. They might have an easier time staking in for sure. They want to fight all these orcs that are coming across the land looking for them.
That's
And the
true.
York- Yeah. Okay.
I
point.
would be. I'm curious because Bilbo puts the ring on, and you would think that would alert them like immediately to where the ring
Right.
was, but they still have to torture Gollum to get the information.
Yeah.
Even though later they show that whenever Frodo puts the ring on, they immediately know where he is.
They are in pretty close proximity at that point, though.
That's true. Maybe they have to be a lot closer.
It's a proximity alarm kind of thing, you know? Yeah.
Proximity alarm, yeah. That's how the ring is. The
Yeah.
radar dishes only go so
Where they're
far.
only so far.
They're out of
Shire is
range.
pretty far out there.
Our satellites aren't. That's too
I guess
far.
the Shire is pretty far from Mordor.
He needs a bigger tower, is what he needs. Maybe
They're
maybe-
looking around going, "This 5G sucks."
Yeah.
So again,
Only has two
but
of
you
them,
have to
so.
you have to think if no one was coming for them in the Shire, would they have left?
Mm.
Would they still have gone on that journey to destroy the ring? Would they just would have kept it there and
Yeah,
hoped
let's
that
just keep
nobody?
it- Yeah.
Because nobody had discovered it there for 60 years.
Right. Exactly. Good call.
Yeah, I like that. I would have lived in that
Dangerous,
Shire.
though, to keep
Looks
it there.
awesome.
I would-
People knowing about it.
Yeah. That's true. Is that people have to know that it's around because like when the ring is found, nobody's heard of no one's known about its existence for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's the whole point of Galadriel's whole speech in the beginning. Some things that should not have been forgotten were lost.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
I
fun
heard.
too, where it's been thousands of years and somehow the ring only has like a few little bits of like weeds on it and stuff.
Magic, dude.
It's in a river. It should be buried about 1,000 feet down in the ground.
Magic.
It's easier to get dino DNA than it is just for the Lord of the Rings.
I don't know
For
about
the-
that. Let's not be silly here. Bad.
The ring decides when it wants to be found.
It
You know
just
what?
surfaces somehow
Yeah.
magically.
Godspeed, Too Much. I can't believe that you had to sit there and watch those movies with him. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know.
No,
They're tough watches.
Oh my god.
I agree.
No,
Wow.
That's why I've
the
only
problem
watched
with
them
it-
once.
It's just too much. Again, they should develop the story slowly. It should be more adventure in the first movie rather than they're trying to world build too quickly.
Well,
they only had 3 movies, and each movie is already 4 hours long.
yeah, I've never heard the take that it needed to be longer, but I agree with you, Trevor.
I don't think
I
it needs to be
agree,
longer. It just
8
they're wasting
hours
time.
for that one.
Well, you take that up with Tolkien. They're based on his books.
They're just Peter Jackson's like, let's spend a bunch of time throwing out words that don't mean anything to the audience, and we're going to make it for people who've read the books and have a basic understanding of what's going in. That's how the movies are designed.
I mean, I saw the
That's
movies before I read
problematic.
the books.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I don't know. For me, fantasy it's about dipping you immediately into that world and like fleshing it out as you go along. So they're going to use words because they don't want to
disagree.
baby you the whole
Harry
way.
Potter somehow figures it out.
Because it's written for children.
Whatever. JK
Carry on.
figures it out how to make it something for everybody, huh?
Hey, Prague.
Let's see who has a bigger fandom.
Prague. Mom and Dad are fighting. I'm
I know,
feeling
this is
very
fun.
uncomfortable right now. Can we go play with our toys or something?
Well, I like
No,
both
you're
of those.
right. Well, the thing about Harry Potter is that A, it takes place in the modern age, and B, Harry at the beginning of the book is just a human, so he knows nothing about the wizarding world. So it's really easy to introduce all of these concepts as to the reader because they're introducing them to Harry as well along the way.
That's true.
Frodo should be oblivious to this stuff too, though.
But he's a part of this world. He lives in it.
Yeah.
So
No.
he knows about the things that are in there. If they were explaining everything
I
as
thought
you were
you just
going,
said that the ring hasn't been known about for hundreds of years.
they explain what the ring is. Literally, the entire first 15 minutes of the movie are a prologue about what the ring is.
Yeah, but Frodo shouldn't know that.
He doesn't.
It doesn't.
He does, though.
Everything
doesn't
was told to
understand
him
that.
by Gandalf, right?
Bilbo
Even
has
Alex
been
knows.
talking
Look
to
at
him
this.
for his whole life.
But he didn't know Bilbo had the ring.
He didn't know he had the ring, but Bilbo's been telling him stories of his adventures his whole life.
Yeah.
Adventures, yeah.
And the ring was never a part of it. So I don't know what point you're trying to make.
Wait,
How does that make Frodo the everyman?
Frodo isn't the everyman.
I know. He's the main character. So
I know. That's why I'm saying it's a stupid leaping off point for the audience.
So you're supposed to
What-
pick some hobbit that knows nothing. It's just like that guy picking his ear at the beginning of the
No,
movie.
it should be
He
from
should
Sam's
be the hero.
perspective. Sam should be the narrator.
I'm sorry, fans, if you're feeling uncomfortable at this point.
Sam should
I'm
be the
thoroughly
narrator.
enjoying this.
Well,
'cause he's
what do you guys think? Would Lord of the Rings been as successful, or maybe even more successful, if maybe this was a Game of Thrones series, an
I
hour-long episode like that?
I think so. I think that for Harry Potter too. I just think anything that has a world that's rich needs longer than what movies can usually give it.
I would probably dive into it way more if it was a series rather than because it's hard for me to find 4 hours to spend on watching a movie anymore. I don't know how people did it back when they first came out because it's pretty difficult. There's so much going on in our world right now to sit down for 4 hours.
Sure.
When I first saw Lord of the Rings, I went to a marathon of all 3, and I watched all 3 extended editions back to back.
Oh my God! Never mind. Screw what I just said, people. Yep.
And I've done it twice. The first time my best friend
one,
watched
it's
Lord
like,
of the
well, I
Rings
might
was
as
also in a
well watch
marathon like that.
Yeah,
Dude, you're a
Well,
fan.
the first
That's
2 end on cliffhangers.
of course.
They need to be.
The only one I can watch by itself is Return of the King, because it has closure at the end. Too
Yeah.
much closure for some people, but
Cool.
So, what if Sauron actually had a purpose? So, again, his only purpose is power, and for some
Mhm.
reason, every single villain they just want power and they don't care the ramifications with it. What if there was a character that actually didn't? I need the whole world destroyed, but it doesn't matter. Like, why do they want to rule over ashes? Like Ultron does it, and then Soren's the one who really did it before anybody. Like, oh, cool, I'm all powerful over this horrible landscape.
Well,
It's like, why did Scar want Pride Rock just to destroy the whole thing?
Right.
I don't know if I haven't read the book, so I don't know Sauron's true motivations. I know I had a friend who was a huge book fan, and she used to talk about how she was really upset because at the end of the movies, when the hobbits return to the Shire, all the hobbits are supposed to be enslaved. It's not supposed to be happy there.
That's
The
what
war
we see-
actually
we
reached
see
there.
that. We see it.
We see it
the
as a
vision.
glimpse.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't
So
actually-
it makes me think if instead of full out slaughter, their goal was always to enslave the races of Middle Earth instead
to
of
build them, right, to do stuff
Yeah.
for them. So yeah, it's an allegory of war, and I think a lot of it has to do with Tolkien not really knowing why the men in power that do evil things do the things they do. It's like, what is the purpose? You are just going to rule over Ash. He doesn't know, so I think he just made the villain that way. It was like,
Well,
this villain is almost purposeless, you know.
So it goes to show like who would be a better villain in Lord of the Rings, and I say Denethor, but
Yes. Oh, he's a great villain.
Denethor
Yes.
also wanted power. He's just a great villain. He's just good. He's the steward of Gondor, and
The
he
one
wants
who
to
eats-
remain the steward.
Yeah.
Yeah. He eats all the food while his son goes out to die.
Man, you guys got me a little kind of like wanting to watch it now.
You
Ah,
should.
nice.
That's the goal, Alex.
I'll watch it for an hour and then turn it off and say, okay,
Aw.
I'll come back to this tomorrow.
That's fine. That's what I mean. We started the first one and we haven't finished it yet. We watched the first maybe
2 hours.
2 hours. so
Watch
we
it like a
have-
regular movie and split it into two.
Yeah.
Or just
So-
watch the non-extended one because you don't have me in your life.
That's fair.
to make you watch the extended one.
Turn it into a 6-hour. Yeah. Anyways, hey, this was a good episode.
It was kind of fun. Heated, but fun. I like it.
I get very passionate about the things that I am passionate about.
Passionate about?
Good for you.
Yeah.
You should.
Awesome. So to everyone listening, we got our finale of What If next week. Do you have any idea what's
Ooh.
going to happen?
Yes.
Right. All you have to do is watch that Hyundai commercial. Look up Hyundai Marvel commercial. You'll see the whole finale. But until then, we'll be sure to talk about it next week. And what are we going to talk about to connect to it? I certainly don't know. So you'll have to tune in to find out.
All
We hope everyone enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Adios, y'all.